Good morning, all. Before we begin, we'd like to record the proceedings of today's webinar. So I hope this is okay with everyone. So dams for life, managing their safety and risk for sustainable water futures, exploring the crucial role of dams in our water futures. So this is a 4-part webinar series, and today we are delivering the second webinar in the series. So once again, namaste. Good morning to all in India and good afternoon to those in Australia. Good to see you all again here for the second webinar in this webinar series. This is about fostering collaboration between India and Australia on the crucial topic of dam safety and rehabilitation. In today's webinar, we address two pivotal aspects of dam safety and rehabilitation. The first one is managing flood risks, and the second one is the role of gender equality, diversity, and social inclusion, that is JETSI, in dam safety and rehabilitation. In the face of climate change, aging dams, and other infrastructures, understanding and effectively managing flood risk are paramount important. Our first segment will focus on the experience of New South Wales State Emergency Services. You will particularly hear about the strategies, cutting-edge technologies, and collaborative approaches they use for mitigating the impact of floods on communities and infrastructure. In the second part, the focus is the transformative influence of gender equality, diversity, and social inclusion on dam safety and rehabilitation. Recognizing the complexity of JETSI challenges, the focus is on how we can foster inclusive and equitable solutions that account for diverse perspectives and experiences in dam safety and rehabilitation. So please join us as we bring together experts from Australia and India who share what we can do together to create resilient dams management practices that embrace diversity and prioritize safety for all. Today's webinar promises valuable insights, engaging discussion, and collective commitment to building a sustainable and inclusive water future. We will have a series of presentations today, followed by Q&A session. So please keep your microphone off and also video when you're speaking on. So thank you for joining us today. I now invite Mr. Vijay Saran, Chief Engineer, to make some opening remarks.
Okay, thank you, and good morning to all my friends and DRIP implementing agencies in India, and to all my friends and dignitaries and speakers from Australia Water Partnership, Western Sydney University, New South Wales University, and other friends. So it gives me a great pleasure to be giving the opening remark on this occasion of this second lecture online session of the 4-part webinar series. As we all know that dams are crucial to a country's development, and dams are built for a variety of reasons. Many objectives are there. So irrigation, hydropower, and flood control also. So this climate change, in fact, is aggravating the both. It makes the dams more necessary because when the entire rainfall of the which is supposed to occur in the year happens in a few hours, then it's all the most necessary to store it so that we can use it optimally throughout the year. At the same time, the extreme events due to the climate change have made dam safety also an issue. So both dams are important, and dam safety is crucial to sustaining the dams. So in that series, and India, as you all know, has got more than 6,300 specified dams in the country, and they're ensuring their safety. We have come out with a Dam Safety Act in 2021, and now the dam safety is of paramount importance. So we have to take care of our dams, and the dam rehabilitation and improvement project, which is co-funded by World Bank and Asia Infrastructure Bank, is crucial to rehabilitation of dams. And the rehabilitation of dams, and they have created so much infrastructure. We have created so many guidelines. We have created emergency action plans. We have created operation manuals, etc. It has created a dam safety culture in the country. And so once the dam rehabilitation programs, in fact, have facilitated implementation of the Dam Safety Act in the country. So now the floods, when talking about the flood mitigation, so as I say that floods are caused by natural reasons. The dam is there. If the dam is there, it is supposed to moderate the effects of the flood, so that it stores the flood water and regulates regulated releases are discharged downstream. But in case of a overtopping or a dam failure, the dams sometimes, or their improper operation, they also can become causes of the flood. So it is necessary that flood mitigation measures, both in terms of early warning system and in case of a dam failure, to generate scenarios and emergency action plans, are crucial to minimize the losses and also to include the communities living downstream. And while managing floods and risks of such incidents, unfortunate incidents when it causes a lot of loss to damage and proper human lives and economic losses, it's often the gender divide. The second part of our today's lecture is the gender divide. You see, the gender, often the most neglected and the marginalized sections of the society, their loss are not suffered uniformly. And you will often see that the marginalized sections and the weaker sections, they are often put to a greater loss than the other ones. So loss is there, but their divide of the loss is not equivalent. And in that regard, I'm very happy to say that in under DRIP, we have many number of engineers, lady engineers, who are chief at the rank of chief engineers, superintending engineers, executive engineers, who are dam operating in many of the implementing agencies, especially in the southern part of the country and also in the northeastern part of the country. You have these women engineers of the rank of superintending engineers and all, and managing the dams. And we also put emphasis on the gender issues. And there another thing is that once this calamity type of things happen, then the skill sets required are also not equal. Often the women and the girls, they are not having certain skills to manage those risks. For example, the swimming. So we have to see that there is no dearth of skills, etc., for mitigation of these type of when these events occur. And also when the government gives some relief to the flood victims, and the government often gives it through bank account, money transfer into their bank accounts. Often they don't have the account. So this is the type of issues which flag, and we have to be sensitive to the gender issues, so that the whatever are the risks and whatever is the stakeholders participation, both the 50% of the population and in fact the 100% of the population should be equally prepared to face the risks, to understand the risks, and to manage the risk also. So, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the experts on both these issues, on the managing flood risk, as well as on the gender divide. And I thank the Australian Water Partnership and the World Bank and also the Western Sydney University and all my DRIP implementing agencies. I'm sure this four-part webinar series will be helpful to all of you, and feel free to ask questions whenever you to the eminent panel speaking today. So without taking much of a time, I thank you all, and I hope that this webinar series will be very successful in bringing the Australian and Indian experts together. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay Saranji, giving a nice overview of what you are doing in India. And it's a very important work you are doing. And also, Australian colleagues can learn from you many of the things you are addressing, and especially you mentioned about the gender aspects, which are critical for dam safety and rehabilitation. Thank you. I now invite Dr. Rajagopal Singh from the World Bank to discuss this emergency action plan they have prepared under the DRIP project.
Thank you, Basant. Judy, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Sorry, yes, I was on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, and good afternoon and good morning to wherever you are. Today, what I'm going to present is what has been achieved so far under the DRIP program that the government of India has been implementing for the last 2 decades in terms of flood management. There are many aspects that has been covered under the dam rehabilitation project, but since the discussion is more on flood management and emergency action plan, I will just try to take 5-7 minutes to give a snapshot of what has been done so far and what are the program and the thinking behind Government of India in covering those aspects. Just giving a nutshell, if you look at this particular slide, India has been very, very sensitive towards their dam infrastructures. They have been doing a very good job since 1991, not 1991, beyond that also, but since 1991, they have been having a very systematic approach of securing their infrastructures. You can see there were a series of projects that has been done. These are the projects only financed by the World Bank, but there are many other projects that they are self-financed through the government mechanism. So they have been taking care of their dam in in a very strategic and a very inclusive aspect. What I like to say over here is, in spite of having a large number of dams, like Vijay Saran has said, they have around about 6,000 large dams and another maybe 100,000 small and medium dams. The record of dam break and inundating downstream is very, very less. This shows how committed the Indian engineers in securing their dams. So coming down to the flood management, under the DRIP project that I have shown, so far more than 300 dams has been taken up for rehabilitation. So the starting point of every dam that has been rehabilitated under DRIP goes a hydrological assessment. Because some of the dams are 100-year-old, some are 50, some are 70. The hydrology might have changed. So once the hydrology revision takes place, there is a comparison between the revised hydrology and the design hydrology. And if the revised hydrology is more, then the Indian engineers are very particular in going with the first non-structural aspect of routing the flood and see whether the dam is safe from the hydrological perspective. After that, if they can't control the hydrology through flood routing, they go for structural measure. Several additional spillways were constructed under DRIP to manage the hydrology. They try to revise the operation manuals of the dams, thereby creating flood cushions, trying to see how to negate the impact of climate change in hydrology. They are also investing a lot of emphasis on the dam instrumentation and monitoring of the hydrological parameters. And they are also trying to develop flood forecasting models where they can have advanced, warning system and operate accordingly to minimize the floods. Another aspect that has, they have been doing very well is the, preparation of the emergency action plan. In some country, it is called as EPP, Emergency Preparedness Plan, but in India, they go by the terminology emergency action plans. So in order to have a systematic approach, what the Central Ministry and CWC has done under DRIP is prepare a national guideline on how emergency action plans are to be prepared. And the states follows the guideline and they have prepared emergency action plans. So far, 192 emergency action plans has been prepared. All the plans are, provided or given a chance to all the stakeholders, may it be local community, may it be local, emergency agencies or the public health department to give a comment so that those comments can be incorporated. They are also looking at how cascading dam management in terms of a dam break are also been taken care of. So this is my last slide to give a nutshell what are incorporated in the emergency action plan, the 192 emergency action plan that are prepared, is that in the preparation phase, they do a dam break analysis. They have a digital elevation model, and they develop a inundation map, which takes care of the depth and the time of travel of the floods. You can see on the right-hand side the diagram and also the table which talks about the distance and the inundation maps. The second is, once it is done, it goes through an approval process. And this is a tedious process where the bureaucracy and politics comes into it. But however, the government has been very proactive, and having approval at the government level means there is ownership from the government on those inundation map. And this particular EAP are then put for stakeholder consultations. There are several ways of stakeholder consultation they have been doing. They have put up the EAP in the website for comments from the people. They have circulated to the line departments, and they have physical meetings with all the stakeholders to incorporate their comments. The last stage I have put in red is the phase where we are. It is the implementation part of the emergency action plan. So we are looking at how the early warning system can be disseminated to the local public downstream, how the evacuation plans that are prepared in the plans are being activated, how mock drills are done, how updates are done. We are at this stage, and this is a very, very good time to learn from our Australian colleague how they have been doing in their system and what we can learn from the Indian perspective and incorporate in implementing the action plans that has been prepared. As per the mandate, there are 6,000 dams. As per the mandate of the Dam Safety Act, all 6,000 dams need to prepare the emergency action plan and implement it. So far, they are just in the starting phase with 192 dams. And that is where I see a lot of collaborative work between the Australian experience and India can take place. And this is where I'll stop it over here, and we'd love to listen the experience of the New South Wales. Professor Berson, back to you.
Thank you, Rajagopalji. It's a very nice overview you have given, and it's good. It's very pleasing to say that under the DRIP program, you have initiated a lot of things on the emergency action plan, and it gives a really follow-up from what the next presentation comes after 15 minutes. So it's a